And we're back at it again with the 7 deadly sins, and with my personal favorite sin, no less, Leviathan. Now, normally I'd talk about Viv's version, but seeing as we won't be seeing Leviathan anytime soon, plus honestly, I'm about done with Hell of a Boss. Like, I'm still gonna watch because I invested so much time, and I will finish making the Blitz and Moxie and Striker redesigns, but after seeing Mammon, yeah, I'm about done. I'm just really, I guess, tired of everything, because like I keep reiterating the same points, I keep explaining why research is also important, yet for some reason I keep getting people say, well, it's Viv's interpretation. I'm like, that's fine, but this is biblical lore. There is actual research to be done with these kind of characters, and I don't understand why not very many people do that. And the whole point of these reimagines is to explain what could be done with the existing lore that we already have. Obviously, if you want to go in your own direction and do something completely different, that is fine. However, when you are doing something like that, it is important to create your own lore and your own established world building, because obviously you're going to have issues with your fans who understand biblical lore and are confused when you do not show your own lore and own world building for why your sins are acting the way that they're acting. That has always kind of been my issue with the 7 deadly sins. Like, we have been told time and time again that each sin represents a certain type of circus act, yet no one represents their theme whatsoever other than Mammon and Lucifer. We have yet to see the others. So I can only compare the 4 that we have now, but judging by the fact that they made Belphegor's entire ring medical based, and the fact that there has been talk on Viv's Patreon that Leviathan is going to be a chill surfer dude, which again has nothing to do with circus elements, so it's like you're not even following the themes of your own lore or world building. It drives me crazy. That is kind of why I've decided to completely give up Has-Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss. I am going to review Has-Been Hotel, but it's going to be in a completely different way than you guys are used to, so don't worry about there not being any Has-Been content, because there will. But I went completely off topic. Let us continue on, because this is going to be long. But yeah, there's talk that Leviathan is going to be a chill surfer dude, and while, yeah, that's a different approach to the sea monster, it feels kind of silly. Like, I get anyone can make the sins however they want, but they're still high-ranking demons, and basically royalty, plus Leviathan caps them all, because, surprise, Leviathan isn't even a demon or fallen angel, but a primordial beast, and Leviathan is actually the first creature God has ever made. There are many purposes Leviathan is given. Some believe he was made to embody the natural world and maintain the balance and order of creation. A few other texts say Leviathan is just a representation of God's supreme power over the elements, since no man can tame the ocean, which I personally think is the closest, since Leviathan actually has siblings that rule over the earth and sky, aka Behemoth and Ziz. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly because the literal spelling is Z-I-Z, so. It said these creatures are untamable and cannot be killed by mortal or angelic weapons. Only God can tame them. So it's not too off that they represent the chaotic and order of the natural world. However, it does seem that Leviathan is a special case, as he was made outside of Earth's waters and lived within the abyss. And let's just say he was not happy about that. Like, Leviathan, truly living up to his sin's namesake, envied pretty much everything God's creation, the heavens, and would thrash around in the abyss, threatening to flood Earth along with threatening to eat the stars and moon. And honestly, I wouldn't put it past Leviathan, as a lot of the texts specifically say Leviathan as having the gate to the underworld in his mouth, a flaming inferno that can suck a person's soul down to hell, which I find to be really badass, and an even bigger reason why I'm terrified of the ocean. But yeah, him threatening to eat the stars feels like something he could probably do, you know? Though eventually God gave Leviathan domain over Earth's water, and it seemed to be enough for Leviathan, but Leviathan is still the embodiment of envy, so that really didn't last long, and due to the chaotic nature of this creature, it's no wonder they soon became the Prince of Envy. Though not much is written about their actions in the war, my best guess is Leviathan just did what he always did, and just ate some of the fallen angels. I mean, not much else is written about how he becomes the Prince of Envy, only that when God kills him in the future, he will be fed to those deemed righteous, and those who don't eat him will be given armor made from his hide, and what is left will be placed on a wall that apparently will light the entire earth. So, seeing as Leviathan's whole life is pretty much set in stone, I like to think he was the first sin given an actual title before anyone even knew there would be more princes. But yeah, Leviathan is a pretty powerful monster that only God can tame, so it makes me think, like, why is Lucifer the king of hell and Leviathan isn't? He's just like the extra gate, which still cool, but like sometimes biblical lore really makes me confused on the power level and importance. Anyway, the depiction of Leviathan is very limited. All that is really mentioned in the text is that no creature in the depths is its equal and that he's ginormous, along with like the longest explanation on his hide, aka skin, being impenetrable, and the closest we get to an actual personality is that Leviathan looks down on those who are proud and arrogant, which kinda works since envy is a little more complex. St. Thomas explains that envy has 3 stages. 1, destroying one's reputation. 2, enjoy said one's misfortune if succeeded, but if they fail, they feel grief at the person's prosperity. And 3, hatred, cause sorrow causes hatred, which all seems to align with Leviathan pretty well. I mean, envy is one of the most potent causes of unhappiness, as it not only brings sorrow to the person committing envy, but also the urge to inflict pain upon others. Like, envy is truly a double-edged sword, which is kind of why, like sloth, it bothers me that like media biblical lore for the sins is basically dumbed down to its simplest form of, oh, I want what you have, give it, which isn't even the correct point, as envy is not jealousy. If you are envious of someone, you want to destroy what is good and excellent about them. It's basically to tear other people down to make yourself feel better, but you never do feel better. It just makes you more angry and bitter. Anyway, I'm getting super off topic. Let's just move on to the design. This is like so long. So for Leviathan's design, I obviously had to make something that wasn't a ginormous sea dragon. Like, I needed to make something that could walk around, which in theory, it was fine. It just kind of bugged my brain that if Leviathan's mouth is the gateway to hell and he's in hell, then so like, is his mouth and hell like an infinity situation, kind of like holding 2 mirrors together, or what? So to stop that part of my brain, I figured this more humanoid style of Leviathan is like his avatar, or part of him that's able to look after envy while his bigger self is chilling in the abyss. Because at the time I really didn't want to give him legs, and I might still get rid of them when he's in envy, but when she's going to visit the other sins, they have legs. Anyway, his face is a combination of dragon and snake, so an extra long snoot and your typical dragon horns, but they're more simple so she can swim faster, and on the side of their face are flared fins. I try to make them similar to betta fish fins, but later you can see me struggling. So as for his hair, you'll see it later. I did add glow marks later on, but these are tentacles, they just lack suckers. But when he gets upset, his hair spreads out kind of like a frilled neck lizard, but you know, in the dark and with 38 glowing eyes. Yeah, the glow marks are small eyes. I did also give them neck gills because I wanted to and because I think they're hot. That's right, I'm owning it. I'm a monster fucker, specifically sea monsters. Now you know. Now for their outfit, I had a hard time thinking something up because I really wanted them to be extra fancy, like Met Gala fancy, or like high fashion bitch that looks great and you want to be them fancy, but still have that sea element. So I kind of mimicked my redesigned Lucifer's outfit with a more pirate silhouette and Kardashian runway look, with a see-through deep V top with glow jewels and rib bone accents and a matching spine jeweled choker. And if you're wondering, yes, Maman gave her the emerald, and I will explain the whole jewel thing in Maman's video, so do not worry. As for the jacket, it's where I went pretty hard on the pirate aesthetic, so big lapels with swirl edges made to mimic the waves of the ocean, and at the end of the coat, it's cut with a mermaid tail pattern, cause, you know, fish. His sleeves have the same cut as well, along with the wave edges, but with a secondary color, and snake bones on the sleeve, which I feel I should explain. So I'm sure you've all seen I've put gold on most of the reimagined sins due to their ties to being angels and royalty. And even though Leviathan has always been royal, they don't really have that deep of a connection to heaven and has pretty much lived their whole life underwater. And I recently learned that when whales are attacked, that a good chunk of their body sinks to the bottom of the ocean. So I like to think Leviathan crafted a lot of his clothes and accessories out of bones, giving her this haunting look of, this could be your bones draped over me if you're not careful kind of vibe. So yeah, no gold for Leviathan, only bones. Anyway, I also gave her fingerless long gloves and spine bracelets. I was gonna do full gloves, but wanted to show off Leviathan's nails, you know, because they're pretty. And as for their pants, you'll see I struggled a bit with them. Like, I wanted the coat to be a statement piece, but after a while I really liked that his pants matched. And at the bottom of the pants, I did like triple flared mer ends, but as you can see, I was having a hard time trying to color them or find a pattern that fit. So later on, you'll see I did like an edge color, which I think works so much better and matches more with the jacket's lapel style. And I did ombre the pants just a little. It's a little hard to tell, but I did it anyway. And as for their shoes, I pretty much went as all out as I could. So again, spine heel with wave edges, really pushing the sea theme here, because that's pretty much Leviathan's whole vibe, minus a few other things. I also gave him a spine belt as well to pretty much keep with the theme. Now, as for her tail, I kind of just winged it as I wasn't super sure what to do, but I think the spine frail tail works. And if you're wondering why the underneath part of his tail is his hair color, it's because the pattern goes to his butt and makes a heart. No one will ever see it, but you'll know it's there because I said it. But I'm pretty happy with the outfit. Like, it's simple in style, but crazy over the top with all the embellishments and accessories that just scream high royal fashion. As for the colors, again, I can't be more clear with this, but Envy's original biblical color is green, as the saying goes. They were green with envy. I know Viv made her version of greed green, cause American money, but like making Envy purple, which is Pride's color, is just crazy to me. Like, okay, if you want to change the colors around, fine, but like, why make Envy purple? You already added pink to the lineup. When No Sin's color is biblically pink, like, why not make Envy blue, Lust pink, and Sloth purple? At least then, it would make sense for everyone. Off topic, sorry. But yeah, super in love with this design and even more in love with their overall character, which I'll get into now. So I've kind of made Leviathan non-binary, as some texts depict them as a he or she, as a lot of people think Leviathan is the sea, and we've always kind of called the ocean a she, so yeah, Leviathan goes by she, he, and they, them. Think like Loki. Not the movie or show version, more the newer comics, because they explain it so much better. So, Leviathan hates Lucifer. I mean, just hates him, and feels she's been cheated out of the arrangement of hell, and thinks they should have been the ruler of all of hell, and will constantly bring it up. They never get far in their arguments, as Lucifer is way too prideful to give up his position to a creature that's basically God's lapdog. The only good relationships Leviathan has is with Satan and Belphegor, as when Leviathan loses control or isn't satisfied with a person's reaction, he'll lose his mind, and Wrath will be right there to hype them up and get them even more angry and destructive. And as for Belphegor, Leviathan and him have a more work-based relationship, as Belphegor is the reason social media exists and gave Envy her second wind to corrupt even more with the changing times. Again, reiterating my whole, like, the sins are trying to update with the times. As for everyone else, the relationships aren't the greatest. Leviathan thinks Asmodeus is a cheap knockoff of their sin and thinks gluttony is an embarrassment. However, Mammon is a mixed bag, as they're actually a couple. But there is zero love between them, only a weird benefit the two get from one another, as being with the richest sin gives Leviathan that superiority he wants, and Mammon gains access to Envy's abyss, which I should explain is a dark, other, underwater world. The water itself is chaotic and specifically made to keep Leviathan in, so I like to think the water has some kind of very potent dark magic, and Leviathan likes to use the water to corrupt even more than necessary, to the point Earth's water is what makes humans envious by nature, but it's not enough for Leviathan. She wants all to suffer, so she also uses some of the water to make spells, but of course it requires a sacrifice to make a specific spell. Specifically body parts of other ring citizens, like... So if you want to be, like, voluptuous and as beautiful as a succubus, you're going to need the wings of one to get the spell to work. It's not a fun process. Leviathan can even get away with sneaking human sinners' body parts to their domain, and Lucifer is pissed by this, but can't do much because Leviathan is their own thing, like... There's only so much Lucifer can do about Leviathan. Leviathan is unhinged. Now, these spells are sold as like pseudoscience nonsense and has like big goop vibes, but the kicker is the products do work. They're just so small and only the richest of the rich can afford it, making more people willing to kill over getting something from Envy. Now, originally I was going to have Envy be like mostly ocean and have a few floating cities, but I decided Envy would just be completely ocean and only water-based citizens could have access to the ring, and the main city would be like this relaxing, glamorous underwater paradise that other citizens could only dream of being able to go, which is what makes Envy's social media platforms so popular, as everyone who wants to go is envious of the person posting, aka paid Envy citizen to promote more envy in others, which in turn makes Leviathan happy, but just a little, as Leviathan's envious nature can never stop growing. Now, a little info on the Love Shark side, as they currently live in Envy now. BB does know Leviathan. Her family was given special access to the Abyss, as anyone Leviathan deemed worthy to spread chaos and envy was allowed this privilege. Obviously, this was all before social media and Leviathan now selling the stuff, but in the beginning when they were just getting started, this is what Leviathan did, though she isn't happy that BB is a half-breed and the last of her family has been bred down into being seahorses when originally they came from dark-based creatures. Think like T-Rex to chicken situation. But BB is now part of his secret scavengers, meaning BB now has permission to go after other ring citizens instead of constantly going after her own ring citizens. Luckily this time she's just the smuggler and not the killer, so that's a nice step up. And if you're wondering about Chaz and the other loan sharks, this is part of the rewrite situation where Leviathan and Mammon have decided to create citizens made from both of them. So loan sharks are part greed and part envy. They are not hybrids, nor are they evolutions. They were physically created to be part of both worlds. So the loan sharks have way more access to greed's ring along with envy's ring, which is why envy's ocean is connected to the bottom of greed's ring, if that makes sense. And lastly, as usual, Leviathan enjoys watching everyone suffer, but has a soft spot for Earth's sea creatures, and has tried to make citizens based around them, but they never come out right, which is why they don't really care what happens to their citizens. Anyway, this was so much fun. I wish I could talk about Leviathan forever, but then there would be no time for anything else, and I have a lot of things to do. But yeah, I loved every minute of talking about Leviathan and sharing the wonder that is envy, as it's the sin we deal with the most, but just don't know it. Anyway, envy is so much more than we give it credit for, as it's in all of us. And again, even though I know we won't be seeing Leviathan in Hell of a Boss anytime soon, I know I'll be disappointed in what could have been, because I can never see Leviathan as a chill surfer dude. If anything, I'd see Leviathan as more of a Regina George type, and obviously you can make the sins however you want, but you are still taking existing material, and when you do nothing with it, then it's like, why did you pick this lore if you weren't going to use anything? Or better yet, make your own lore with these characters. I mean, look at Little Demon on Fox. Yes, I know it's not the best show, but their lore slaps. They have Osmodeus in the show, and he's nothing like he's depicted, but they make it their own thing, and it works. Even Supernatural did their own thing with biblical lore. But overall, it feels like to me, this is all me, that Viv just takes the names and slaps them on her designs without really looking into these figures, which at this point isn't shocking, as a lot of the Has-Been Hotel characters share barely any hints to what they are, or time period wise. Due to everyone practically wearing the same outfit, I mean, Alistair died in the 1930s, and we know he never plans to update his look, yet his suit isn't styled after the 1930s at all. And Vox is a character obsessed with keeping up with the times, yet is in the same suit as Alistair, and still has wire antenna. Like, we have smart TVs now, plus the top hat. Like, nah, bro. Top hats haven't been back in fashion for a while. Like, it's a fun throwback look, but yeah, up-to-date fashion, it is not. Anyway, next video will be a surprise, as I haven't really picked who I want to talk about next, so keep a lookout on my community tab, as I tend to post sneak peeks of what I'm doing. But yeah, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Really helps out the channel and me. I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!